So the next topic that we're going to get into is we've seen a lot of injuries happen throughout the years with the turf, especially at MetLife. MetLife, it seems to be like just ACL torn every game, not every game, but like a lot of games in the season. So a topic that we wanted to get into was should grass fields be mandatory in the NFL?
Yeah,
So
this
what's
is
your thoughts?
very, very early on in the season. We touched on this topic a little bit, and I remember Von Miller being on Pat McAfee's show and kind of talking about how it's kind of ridiculous that the NFL doesn't have only grass fields. Soccer players, they only have grass fields, um, because they know how dangerous it is, and they're not gonna,
Put that at risk.
yeah, put their players at risk for a game where football is already so violent and there's already so much injuries. Um, I don't understand why they don't just make it standard. I mean, look, the NFL um, business model is you're making money no matter what. Like I
Right.
just don't see why you couldn't find a way to implement grass fields when all these other soccer teams and stuff like that are doing it, and some NFL teams do it already. It's not like no teams do it.
Right.
I don't know what the percentage is or what the numbers are. It's got to be at least half the teams in the NFL have grass fields.
No.
Um, and like you said, MetLife alone has been notoriously bad. I mean, you have Wandell Robinson come back from another injury just to tear his ACL
Yep.
playing on turf, and now he's out for the season. And it's like we have enough injuries, guys. Why don't we do
How
what we can
many?
to limit them? I know. Look, the NFL has done some good stuff in terms of looking at concussions more and changing the way different things go. Like preseason now, a lot of starters they don't play, and that's iffy too because it's like you don't get the contact, and maybe that ends in injury. But it's clearly been a focus, right? They're trying to figure it out. They might not always have the right answer, but you'll have to applaud them for trying.
Right.
I don't see how this is not one of the things more on the forefront here. Because you just can't afford to just be losing these guys to blowing out their knees every time they,
Yeah.
they play on these turf fields.
Yeah, and I think a good selling point on top of that is the fact that you're not only losing players, but you're losing players that are stars. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen Odell go down. We've seen Nick Bosa go down in MetLife. We've seen, Saquon Barkley with a leg injury. And it's like these are household names that people go to these stadiums to see. So it's like if you invest in the product, you can probably just get just as much, make more returns right after you do it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's tough because we have situations where it's like the Bengals still have an outdoor
Practice facility.
practice facility, and it's like why? And again, it would be beneficial towards both parties. So it's not like, oh yeah, well, we just want something that's going to benefit the players and not benefit your
Yeah,
business.
I mean,
As
look,
an NFL brand, that's going to just make your brand a lot
I
more
mean,
better and safer at that.
you're
So
you're paying all these guys. Why wouldn't you want to get the most out of your money? Like, you don't want to pay a guy, a star running back, a bunch of money just to see him sitting on the bench because he tore his one of his ACLs on your turf. Like,
right.
just get the grass, and if they get injured, they get injured. Fine. Like, we understand injuries are a part of the game,
Yeah, it's
but let's
inevitable.
let's limit these things. Let's not have it be this kind of thing. You know, it's a tough thing too because it's like, did, like, for instance, Wanda Robinson, one of the recent ones, did he tear his ACL because of the turf, or would he tore it on grass? Either way, I don't know, but all I know is that there's turf there, and that
That's a
we know that the
pretty
turf
big factor.
is a factor. So why don't we just eliminate that? So that way, if somebody tears their ACL, it's like, oh well, I guess they tore it. It's not the turf's fault. There's no
Uh,
turf there. There's nothing else to blame at that point. So, yeah, I mean, look, hopefully, this is something that the NFL looks at. I think there's been enough discussion on it. I mean, I've heard more discussion about this turf versus grass thing this year than maybe any year prior. So
right.
maybe the talk around it and the narrative gets loud enough for them to make some changes and kind of put this kind of thing behind us.
Yeah, hopefully it gets put behind us and hopefully there's a lot less injuries, but